Here with Coach Douglas with Straight A Athletics and Events.
Straight A Athletics, where you bring out your A game.
Present day until when you were being recruited as an athlete, and we'd also like the pros and the cons, what you see that is productive and what you think is counterproductive.
All right. First of all, from when I was being recruited, back then I graduated, I'm a 1982 graduate of Trotwood Madison. And when I was recruited back then, the media outlets, strong as they are currently, for me even to be able to go to school, my coach had to tell a coach and get a coach from Coffeyville Junior College to take me along with another kid. We had a running back by the name of Tony Cosby, who was the player of the year in Ohio in our year. And I was a kid that needed to go to junior college, and the coach told him that if you want Tony, you got to take Maurice with him. And that was my way of just getting to college. The only other option I had was to go to Central State. And at that time, Central State was rolling because Coach had him, Coach Billy Joe had him going in the right direction. They had won championship. But the outlets and the opportunities were not as strong as they are now. Today, with the accessibility of all the media outlets from the internet and the various rivals and different scouting groups and entities that are out there, it makes the game a whole lot easier because kids have combines, they have different venues they can go to. They can go to Nike Spark combines, they can go to the Nike camps, the Under Armour camps, and you have all these different venues that will give you the exposure that we weren't getting in those days. Now that exposure is so dynamic that it's almost a hindrance because you have people who are not necessarily qualified to be evaluators who are evaluating people. And that's why, that's one of the things that I see that's a downfall of it, because you have guys and girls who haven't played football, not to say that they haven't played it at the highest level, but if you've only played football in junior high or you're just going based off of what you learned in the book, how can you become an evaluator of talent? That's the one piece that I see that is a negative on the whole recruiting process right now. But overall, the game now is so much easier to get in school. If you can run, jump, and chew bubblegum right, you can get a scholarship somewhere. And so my thing is for our guys to maximize the opportunity that you have. If you're with us, the one thing we're going to push is the grades. So if you're academically strong, there's a place for you out there somewhere. It may not be Ohio State or Michigan. It may just be a Division II or Division III. But there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're taking care of what you're really there for. The thing you're there for is to get your grades and to get your degree. And so you have to use this opportunity, this vehicle that they have now to maximize your moment.
Said, Coach, you have a great reputation for sending kids to D1. How many kids have you sent to D1 or just off the college period?
Currently we have 56 kids in Division I schools, but overall we have 154. And that ranges from NAIA all the way to junior college. Like I said, I'm a product of a junior college. So if you can make it from junior college, you can make it. If anybody can make it, if I can make it, you can make it. And my thing is that with the 150 plus kids in school right now, our thing is for you guys to try to maximize your moment in the classroom, and then also with the parents, realizing that this vehicle, it's a 4-year run, and it's got to start in the 8th grade. I try to preach to our kids in the 8th grade to try to take care of your Spanish 1 and your Algebra 1 in the 8th grade, because it carries over to the high school. As long as it's taken in high school and it's on your 48H form and a part of your NCAA clearinghouse, that 8th grade Algebra and 8th grade Spanish are the first steps that you need to be taking to maximize the opportunity to go to school. Because with the standards changing now, the 2015 class will be the first class that has to have a 2.3 and a 17 to be qualified for NCAA. And so you have to take advantage of those. And you have to have 10 core classes going into your senior year for you to be eligible to have that.
Coach,
54.
154. How many years have you been coaching here at Trotwood?
I've been at Trotwood for 11 years now. This past year was our first year winning the state championship. And in this senior class, we had 3 kids that went Division I. We had one go to Pittsburgh, one go to Eastern Michigan, and another go to Eastern Kentucky. But as a whole, we sent 11 total out of this class, out of 15 kids who graduated.
Coach Mo, If a team is not winning state or the coach is not sending it to the next level, what's he really accomplishing?
He's just getting a paycheck, because that's all it's all about to him. Because my thing is, in the end, not only our kids, but all kids deserve an opportunity to go to school, because that's going to be the thing that's going to make you marketable for life. And if a coach is just not sending kids to school or not winning titles and things like that, the titles, we don't really, we want the titles, but that's the second part of that. The number one thing we want is our kids to go to school. And if you're not sending them to school, then you're doing a disservice to not only your community, but you're also doing a disservice to that kid in his future. Because you're talking about generations that are being affected by kids getting their degrees, by kids getting the opportunity to go to school. Because you got to eat somehow. And if you don't eat clean, you're going to eat dirty.
Right.
Meaning that if you don't have a degree, if you don't go to college somewhere, you're going to be out here trying to hustle and make money somehow. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a guy that's not sending kids to school, because some of them don't know the things that are out there. But the majority of those coaches, they know what's out there, and they know that that stipend is coming. They're going to get an $8,000, $9,000 check from that school district. But if your kids aren't going anywhere, you've done a disservice to your community as a whole.
Coach, we want to talk lastly, and we say the best for last, just about developing young men. Could you talk about that as a coach?
Yes, I think that as a coach, you have to make these young men marketable for life and showing them how to be fathers, because most of them don't have fathers in their lives. So our thing is that each one reach one, meaning that if I myself take one or two and another coach take one or two, and as a whole, we'll affect about 80 to 90 kids that we have through our program, then those kids will become more effective fathers. They'll become more productive young men in their community, meaning that that's less kids that we have behind in the penal institutions. That's less kids that we have out here just making babies, because anybody can be a donor, but it takes a man to be a dad. Even if it's not your kid, you still have a responsibility to try to train that kid up and to try to help him. And the number one way that I found to be an asset to me is through knowing Jesus, through knowing God, knowing that God has a plan for you. God is the one that's in control. He knows exactly where those kids are at, and he knows who he's going to send. When I took this job 11 years ago, the thing that got me this position, I was praying. My church was in a fast, a 30-day fast, and in the process of that fast, Trotwood came and asked me if I'd be interested in being the head coach here. And when they did, the first thing I did, I prayed. I said, Lord, send them from the north, south, east, and the west. Who's ever supposed to be there with me and underneath me, from the coaches to the players, I prayed that they would come. And boy, have they came. I've been able to see young men from Lima to California to Virginia to North Carolina to Tennessee that have come to Dayton, Ohio, to Trotwood, Madison, Ohio, and come and be a part of our program. And now today, we're at the pinnacle. We're the #1 team in the state of Ohio in Division II football. We have more kids in our 2013 class. We'll have a minimum of 10 Division I kids. I think it'll be our biggest number, just because I know kids are going to want to come here. But with that being said, if I do what I'm supposed to, then not only have I reached my neighborhood, I've affected our world as a whole. Because you're talking about generations that are being affected when each of us go out here and reach a kid. Not only is that kid being affected, but his children's children are being affected. And that's the thing that we try to do in trying to help our community and help the nation as a whole.
Well, we certainly appreciate you, Coach, and we need more men builders like you. Thank you from Straight A Athletics and Events.